Greetings. So a couple of days ago, I took my mother to see her doctor for her, I don't know if it's every 6 months or annual because we had to delay things because of the pandemic, but it had been a while since Mom had seen the doctor. So we go for the doctor visit just to do the general checkup. And it's going along as normal, but the doctor must have noticed something that I don't. And my thought is that, I see my mother every day, and even though I notice certain things happening here and there, I don't necessarily overly worry about them. But if a doctor is seeing her maybe every 6 to 9 months, even if it's a year, like I said, I'm not really sure how long it is, I'm sure that she probably noticed the decline in some ways more than I did. And so what she decided that she had to do, this is my opinion, but this is just what happened, is that she wanted to give me some insight as to how Mom may decline over the course of time. And I knew about the fact that she might stop talking at some point, although she talks a lot now. Even though I don't understand her and she doesn't always understand me, she does talk a lot. But she told me that she might forget how to walk. Never knew about that. She said she might forget how to eat. And I've kind of thought about that one. And I always thought about, at some point she might not be able to control her bodily fluids. But it never occurred to me that it's a possibility she could forget how to use the bathroom. In other words, there are times now where it's 10 to 15 minutes before she goes. And I'd been wondering about that. So I asked that question and she said they sometimes forget. And it's like, whoa. And I've noticed certain things here and there, and I'm going to tell you the truth. I really didn't want to know these things. I really didn't. Even the couple of things I knew, I really didn't want to know them. I didn't want to have to address them. I don't have to address them now. I'll probably have to address them in the future. I don't want to address them in the future, but at least now I have the knowledge. And based on the fact that I've been able to care for my mother for these last few years, I think I'll be ready when it's time, and hopefully I will make the right decision at that time, because it doesn't help not to know and then suddenly be shocked when something happens and say, oh my God, I never knew that was going to happen. And I equate this with leadership and leaders because over the last couple of weeks there have been incidences that have happened that you read about in the news where, for instance, the Washington football team just had something come out where 15 women came out and mentioned that they had been sexually, not assaulted, but not treated fairly, different things had happened. And there were a lot of people who had lost their jobs. And no one knew at the time why. And then this thing came out, and sure enough, it turns out that the guy who actually owns the team, the majority owner, did not know any of this was happening. Now, that's what he says. No one can actually prove if he knew it or not, but other people who have left were top people and a couple of minority owners, although no one is saying out loud and in public whether the minority owners knew that this was going on, or if some of them had been doing some of the same things. But you read the stories of this and you're like, wow, how did you guys miss this? And then there was another story about a clothing company that I'd never heard of, so I can't even begin to tell you the name of it, where there were complaints that they don't have any real diversity at the company. The CEO decided to double down and say, how dare you say this? And he told this woman, who was a former employee, that we were going to have trouble if you don't apologize. So in essence, he threatened her. But when he was asked, he did say, okay, we don't have any minorities in management. And yes, we only have a couple, but we are very, we believe totally in diversity. And for her to say something like this and say that we don't care, and I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? You didn't address the issue. You're trying to dodge. You can say anything you want to, but you haven't done it. So you're wrong. You're not addressing it. You're not a true leader. You may think you are, But to threaten someone who you then have to kind of agree with, but you want an apology, idiocy. You know, one of those things that I have always said is that it's better as a leader to know what your problems are and to try to find a way to fix those problems, or to think ahead about potential problems that could happen and try to modify things. You know, what works well today might not work so well 3 to 4 years from now. Things are always changing. And in every single industry, there are people who hopefully know that there's this possibility that things that their department is over might change, and they should put things into place to try to be ahead of that curve. There are things you don't know about. For instance, when this pandemic hit, there's a whole bunch of companies that had no idea what to do, and they were caught off guard. And, you know, with something like that, there's just no way to get around it. You're caught off guard. And yet, there are some people who believe that some of the major hospitals should have, you know, always been prepared for this kind of thing. And as a matter of fact, when the federal government said that, well, we don't have a plan and there's no plan in place, well, it turns out the previous president, his administration did have a plan, but the current administration basically trashed it and shut down the commission. So there you are. You know, you have to be cognizant that there are going to be changes, and you can't just put a bag over your head or put your head in the dirt and start saying no, 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 no. You need to be a true leader. You need to figure these things out. And it doesn't hurt to listen to your employees or to management that's below you or even management above you when they say, hey, you know what, maybe we need to look into the future, or you need to check certain things out. But it's better if you do it for yourself. It's better for you, it's better for your employees, it's better for your organization. Anyway, that's my thought on it. Let me know what you guys think. My name is Mitch Mitchell. Like stuff like this, please like the video, think about subscribing, and leave a comment. I will talk with y'all later.